Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. About mid to late June or July of 2008, the San Diego Police Department received a grant to conduct an operation, Operation Green RX.
Tonight, 2 sailors are among those behind bars accused of selling drugs at military housing in San Diego.
The district attorney's office is building their case against Eugene Davidovich, the man who carries a medical marijuana card but is accused of dealing drugs.
So it is a gateway drug. It does have ramifications, and people commit crimes in order to get it.
They're charging him, the patient that is, with providing to the other patient, which is legal to do, of course.
We have an environment of fear that everybody lives in where you don't know from day to day whether you're going to be arrested or raided or what's going to happen, and we're hoping that that changes.
That's a debate that will go on, but I will fight fiercely against that.
Hey, Eugene, what's going on, buddy? Jim Fallon. Hey, give me a call when you get a chance. Don't talk to you. Bye-bye.
We will not be demonstrating how to make concentrated cannabis today. Now, the trick is figuring. This article came out yesterday. And this gentleman, his name is John Byron, he wrote this article about April 20th, about 420 coming up, and how they're having an anti-marijuana party for youth. I think it's good to keep kids away from drugs. I'm glad that they're setting up events that focused on clean, good fun, non-violence, non-drug related fun. I think that's very appropriate and needed for our youth. However, when you take that and tie it into medical and bash patients and medical marijuana because you believe that drug use amongst kids is on the rise, and this article is simply trying to tie in two completely separate issues into one, and trying to paint medical marijuana as a bad thing and something that promotes drug use to children, which simply isn't the case. Hey, James. Good, man. Sorry I didn't get back to you yesterday. How's it going with you? Yeah, it is. It's next week. I was tripping too. I thought it was coming up this weekend as well, but I might be going up there tomorrow night with My Marijuana Community. Do you know those guys?
I call it Euro Cannabis Tour.
Right. Well, we are here in Vista, California at the Cannabis Resource Center and Hemp Museum. This place used to be a medical marijuana collective which was raided on September 9th as part of Bonnie Dumanis's eradication of medical marijuana in San Diego County. So this is where there was a couple of plants that belonged to the collective, and the reason this window or this door has no glass is because when the cross-jurisdictional narcotics task force came in, they chose not to use the door handle. This is one of the remaining things that was on the wall. And notice to law enforcement that this is a medical marijuana garden.
You know why the aqueducts are still around? Because they were made with hemp. Do you know that?
All the shit.
It was hemp and lye mixed together to make their cement. And they have an article in the Nug magazine talking about you can build a house out of that, and your house will last 600 to 800 years.
So the medicine goes inside right here,
yeah,
and then this is your mouthpiece.
That's the mouthpiece where you draw, and that's
no lighter, no
no lighter, no fire. It uses up a lot of batteries, but
yeah, but if you get those new envelopes by Sanyo, those things are I can't even believe them. They're good rechargeable batteries.
That's why they don't want to legalize it. Clothes would last for 4 or 5 generations, and we would not be a throwaway society. Not to mention the plastics that wouldn't have required all the chemicals to ruin our environment.
We've only had meetings up here for no more than 3-4 months now, maybe 5 months.
The main thing is I want to come and meet you and tell you I support you.
Appreciate it.
And we support you.
Thank you.
My friend.
Could use all the support I can get, that's for sure.
For sure.
The purpose of Operation Green RX was to target individuals who were suspected of delivering and selling marijuana under the guise of complying with medical marijuana laws. In order to facilitate the investigation, it was necessary for Detective Henderson to take on an undercover alias. On November 13, 2008, Mr. Davidovich delivered and sold to Detective Henderson 6.92 grams of medical marijuana for $120. Ladies and gentlemen, by the end of this trial, you will find beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty of all the charges.
Now, as to counts 1 through 3, the defense is that the distributions made to Detective Henderson, posing as Jamie Conlon, were both covered as transactions which are authorized under the Medical Marijuana Program Act, that Mr. Davidovich was a qualified patient, as was the individual to whom he distributed. He believed legitimately that Jamie Conlon was in fact a legitimate patient and checked his identity.
We operate a little bit differently. We try to have more of a homely feel here. We just allow people to chill out, socialize, interact. I should have put on Facebook so you're here.
I mean, that would have been the best time.
It would have, because I mean, how do you, I said that the other day when you and Marcus were in. How was your conversations with Rudy?
It was really cool. He's a little, his views, I always debate him. It's fun. I love it. We disagree, but I really respect him.
We're in the situation where the moray, the idea of marijuana, is slowly changing across America. This new proposition to legalize marijuana at the end of this year?
Yes, Tax and Regulate 2010. What do you think about that?
It's going to pass.
You think it'll pass?
I'm about 75% sure it's going to pass.
These are our menus. The S and the I stand for sativa and indicas. A sativa increases your serotonin, and an indica increases your dopamine.
The seeds were the same, you know, but
Came
they're
from
just
the same
like,
plant.
yeah,
it's genetic.
You know, like how they all look different.
The
Even
genetics
twins
are slightly different.
Twins are different, you know, but.
I need to get that. It's the second time.
Excuse me. I've been a member of this collective for a while, since it was located in a different place, and we're very fortunate that this place is in town and that patients have the safe access that they need to the medicine that helps them. I've been a proud member. Avocado is on the other side of the building. That's why. Pepper isn't downstairs either. There is no pepper on this side of the building.
Okay, we need pepper. We on the pepper.
That's down there.
No?
Here's your card. My parents were devastated, and they were calling concerned to ask what happened. I had to tell them that I was a medical marijuana patient first, and then I had to tell them that I had been arrested for attempting to provide medicine to others through a collective, and that I was cultivating marijuana. So that was a lot to put on my parents. They're not as supportive as I would like them to be of my involvement with the medical marijuana community, but they've come a long way. I'm very proud of them. I'm very glad to have their support and have had it over the last year. Do you think this goes with the pants and stuff?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either, Mom. No? I think no. It doesn't. I think I'll just go like this, and this is
I have
perfect.
another suit.
No, really,
Two-piece
I think
suit.
this is wonderful, Mom. Thank you.
I think the suit will look too done up.
Yes, this is perfect. This is perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, what all of this suggests very strongly is Ms. Pham is playing fast and loose with the truth. To demonstrate that the amount was a reasonable amount, the burden of proof is on the prosecution, and in order to do that, they have to establish that the amount was not a reasonable amount, that it was excessive. And what evidence did the prosecution present on this point? Absolutely zero.
Ladies and gentlemen, that 34 grams of marijuana was in 11 separate bags. The fact that it was packaged individually, that marijuana that was found in the defendant's car was possessed for sale.
As to what makes sense in this particular case and what doesn't, that you will at the very least conclude that Mr. Davidovich is not a medical marijuana trafficker masquerading as a crusader. He's an individual who's an honest and truthful man, and one who, at great personal loss to himself, undertook to do something good for the people in society who required his assistance, and as a result of that, he was put on trial for an extremely minor amount of marijuana possessed for his own use.
What do you really have left? You have Mr. Davidovich taking a law, hiding behind it, using it, abusing it for his own purposes. A law that saw a need and tried to fulfill that need. Mr. Davidovich took that law and wants you to believe that's what he is. But it's not. He took that law, he used it to protect himself.
They actually came out for the first time and admitted that, in fact, this was Operation Green RX, an operation targeting medical marijuana patients, and add additional illegal drug dealers to the mix to make the whole thing look really bad for medical marijuana patients.
We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant, Eugene Davidovich, not guilty as charged in count 1, not guilty as charged in count 2, not guilty as charged in count 3, not guilty as charged in count 4. Dated 3/25/10, 9 4-person verdict. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are the verdicts as read?
Will you comfort me in my time of need? Can you take away the pain of hurtful deeds? 'Cause when we need it most, there's no rain at all. The dust just settles right there on the feet. 'Cause I will come to you when my days are through. Let your smile just often kill me.
America, I've given you all, and now I'm nothing. Now I'm nothing. Now I'm nothing. I smoke marijuana every chance I get.